Practice number 13 today was good, man. I was really pleased with our guys. Our focus and our effort, energy, and all that was really good. And we challenged them to do that. You know, sometimes you come out the day before maybe A-Day or, you know, as you're getting ready to play a game, and the guys aren't as focused and not as into it, I guess, so to speak. We were in shells today too, so really like how our guys came out and really had great enthusiasm and focus. And we had some really good execution at times too, but still trying to get better in that area. But I like where our guys are right now. That on offense, I think we're improving in each spot, which is important this time of year. You know, as long as you can see improvement from day 1 to day 13, I think that's important. And that's kind of been our whole mission for this spring was, hey, let's improve each day. When we're done with spring ball, be better in our base offense, and I think we've done that and all the way around. And really looking forward to getting out Saturday in front of our fans and letting our players kind of feel that. It's a whole new feeling when you get out in that stadium with these fans here at Auburn. And I know our players are excited about that, and we're excited to see them in a game atmosphere. All right. Any questions?
How do you go about, you know, testing those quarterbacks in front of the crowd, and do you try to mix it up? Do you try to go deep sometimes, do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, you know, I think what we'll try to do probably is just build our game plan based on what we've practiced and what we're good at. You know, we're not going to be able to kind of reinvent the wheel for the A-Day game. I think the biggest thing for the quarterbacks, from my standpoint, will be playing in front of a crowd and going through the kind of pregame you know, routine of the timing and everything that goes along. I think it's a good practice run at that, and then, you know, there'll be a little more juice about them, you know, for playing in front of the crowd. But at the end of the day, you know, we gotta really try to focus on the things that we've already done and really get our guys to see who can execute our plays, our base plays that we've been running, and who leads our team, who affects the other 10 guys the best. I think that's really what I'm looking for.
A couple of years, over the years, Gus has kind of handled it differently by way of just playing in the spring game from an offensive standpoint. When Nick Marshall came back, he wanted to air it out more, and they put up a whole bunch of offense that day. Last year was kind of more vanilla. Do you expect you're going to air it out a bit to see what Jarrett can do?
Yeah, we're going to throw the ball for sure. I don't know relative to how many times and all that. I really don't know. You know how these games are. They the first half, I guess, from what I understand, is regular clock, and then the second half's a running clock. So, you know, really for me, you know, we've been thinking through the things that we've been good at and trying to execute, and you know, I think we'll throw it some for sure, though.
So you don't go in on a target number for each quarterback? Or just
not really. No, the game's going so fast. You know, and this is a little different too, because you'll call the offense for a group, and then the next group goes in. I got to call the offense for them too. So it's not a lot of time in between to really do a lot of quote adjusting or look at how many times we've done something. It's kind of hard in this kind of setting, you know, to do that. So for me, we're just going to try to run our base offense and hopefully hit a few balls down the field. We definitely want to do that, but at the same time, I'm interested in seeing our quarterbacks just execute. If they'll do that and their eyes are in the right place and their fundamentals are good, and, you know, hopefully we'll throw it and catch it. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that they're dialed in and they're where they're supposed to be.
Gee, how long do you anticipate playing Jarrett Stidham?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know yet. Just going to have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, he's got a lot of reps, but, you know, Jarrett's a guy that's missed a year, you know, and set out, so he needs a lot of reps. I don't really have a great answer for that other than we'll just see how it goes.
How different is it going in, because you got a guy that's been a year off,
yeah,
a freshman that should still be in high school, and then Woody that hasn't ever played in a game.
Yeah.
So you got 3 guys that kind of new to this. How different is that going into even a spring game?
Yeah, I think it is, especially here at Auburn. I mean, these guys are new to doing this. So for us, you know, I think it's important to evaluate all 3 of those guys. I mean, Sean's played, and he's played a lot. So, you know, for him and with his injury, it's been good. He's been able to throw 7-on-7, and I think he's improved too. I think it's important that he got better in some areas, and I think he's really tried to do that and accomplish that in a lot of ways. But it's going to be fun watching these 3 guys and their first taste of a game atmosphere, kind of, so to speak, and I'm looking forward to seeing all 3 of them.
Any chance any of them go live?
What's that?
Any chance any of them go live?
No, probably not. No.
Well, you have an idea already what Cam Petway can do, and
Yeah.
carrying on Johnson. How do you use them in an 8-day scrimmage and try to stay away from the injury bug?
Yeah, we're still kind of sorting through the running back rotation right now. I think definitely that's something we got to think through before we make a decision. We've kind of gone back and forth on it, but really probably not ready to decide yet.
Chip, on the format, is it going to be like 1s versus 1s, 2s, 3s?
Yeah, Coach Malzahn will speak on the format. It'll be similar to what they've done in the past.
How much is can you kind of tell that Jarrett Stidham's a guy that's learned an offense before? Is he
Yeah.
picking up quicker because of that?
You know, well, Jared's a smart guy. He comes up here and studies a lot and does a lot of on his own, which is good. That's the characteristic of a really good quarterback, and some of the others do it too. But I think Jared is really a gym rat, so to speak, football-wise, and spends a lot of his own time looking at the things that we're trying to do. So I've seen him catch on pretty quick though, and you can tell he's played some, obviously in a different system, but a lot of similarities to some of the things he's done before.
Guess said Saturday that he's probably more guarded than most people, especially like with A-Day being on TV, not want to get too much information out there.
Yeah.
How do you personally try to balance that out when you in a spring game?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let Coach worry about that. I'm just worried about calling the plays, and he is kind of guarded on that thing, on that situation. But you know, for me, like I said, man, I'm just focused on getting us in the right formation and getting the play called, and then evaluating our guys.
Chip, how important is it to have the guys at wide receiver to make a play or two in this game? You know,
Yeah.
Just to kind of see what they do in this situation.
Yeah, definitely. That's in any game for sure. But I mean, I want to see those young receivers, some guys be desperate to get open. I think that's what I'm looking for. Not just run the route. I mean, let's be honest. It's the SEC. It's college football. The defense is pretty good too. So I want guys that are desperate to get open, that are fighting, that it's important to. And we got some guys that are doing that. But when they can all do it all the time, I think it'll make that unit a lot better.
In that group, the only one that I guess Auburn fans haven't really seen yet is Marquise McLean, since he redshirted last season.
Yep.
I mean, what should fans expect?
Yeah, he's a talented guy. He really is. He's come a long ways this spring. Physically, he's really gifted. You know, he's done some really, like today, I remember he had one really good catch across the middle. I think he's improved. I think Marquise just needs to get on the field and play some, and obviously the bumps and bruises of being a young player. But I do think he's improved, and going against our defense every day has made him a lot better.
With more time to see South Canal out there, this point, where does he stand at this point? Just his adapting to the offense and
yeah, he's catching on really well, and he's in that rotation of playing that wide receiver, you know, tight end, similar to what CJ did here when he was here. He's done well. He's caught on well. He's a natural you know, ball catcher and natural route runner, and getting better at being physical at tight end spot. But I'm looking forward to seeing him out there for sure.
Are you keeping the tight ends at the split five, or are you using them at traditional wide receiver
Both.
spots too?
Yep, we're using them at both. You know, I think the goal is to eventually have a guy that can do all three, play in the backfield, attach, and flex. And we've, you know, all those guys have spent time doing both.
Tim Cook speaking to the team today.
Yeah.
What did you gather from that? What were the words he had to share, and what did you learn from?
Yeah, he was really good. And one of the things that was neat, you know, he talked to. We had another speaker before that. Both, you know, Coach is good about bringing guys in for our players to sit here and listen and kind of motivate those guys. And one of the things that he mentioned was excellence. You know, expecting excellence in everything they do at Apple. And I think, you know, that goes to coaching too. You know, we're on these guys about, hey, no false step, or make sure that your hat placement's here or your hands are here, because we expect excellence out of those guys, and you hold them to that standard. And, you know, he kind of tied that right into what we've been saying all spring, and it was really good to hear his story. Being an Auburn guy, a guy from Alabama, you know, that's done what he's done is really impressive, and he was really fun to listen to.
Chipper, one of the unique things about the spring game is that you're always going to have 11 guys on the field. You're always going to have a position group on the field. So it seems like the individual players are kind of on their own to make adjustments on the fly. And
Yeah.
you'll correct things, you know, the next day on film. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, you know, it is, because you're right. You just roll from one offense to the other. It's tougher to get a lot in. You have to really be doing it on. Now, for me, especially when you're calling the plays, that even makes it tougher. I think our assistant coaches will have an opportunity to maybe make a correction or two here and there. But at the end of the day, we really want them to go out Saturday and have some fun, man, and play, and just let it hang out and see what happens. And we'll coach them off the film, like you said. But you know, we've prepared to this point, and we've been base offense, base defense. So now let's go let them play. That's really what we're looking forward to. And I want our guys to have some fun, man. I really do. I want this to be a fun atmosphere. The first year I was here in 2013, we had a really big crowd, and it was a lot of fun. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing again Saturday.
It seems like every player we talk to makes the Nick Marshall comparison for Blake Willis. You were here in 2013.
Yeah.
Do you see any similarities?
Yeah, that's a big comparison. Nick was a really good player. I think Malik's done a lot of really good things, for sure. But at the same time, you know, I'm not ready to say that yet. I think he's a really good athlete, really good player, learning to play quarterback. Really hasn't played quarterback that long. If you go back and look at him, I think he's really played for a year and a half, you know, when he moved to a different school in Georgia. So he's growing, he's getting better. But like I said, that's a big comparison. Nick was a really good player here.
You go into a scrimmage like this, the first time fans get to see everything, you know, including the media, we tend to maybe overreact to what we see.
Right.
What would you tell fans and you know, based off what they see Saturday, how should they take it going forward?
Yeah, well, I think Saturday we won't be a whole lot. I mean, it'll be base offense, base defense. So obviously, when you're somewhere and you're starting in the spring and installing, and we're putting in some new things. I think there's going to be some bumps and bruises with that. But that's good for our players because they get to learn in a game atmosphere and make adjustments and see that when they watch the film. But you know, for our guys, I just want us to play with really good tempo. Play fast and really try to execute some plays. That's what I'm looking forward to more than anything. And then from there, I'll be happy with the way it goes.
If you do go first offense against second team defense, having gone ones versus ones
right
in earlier scrimmages, does that change your expectation at all from your unit?
I don't know, man. I tell you what, some of those guys on the second team are pretty good too. You know, there'll be some kind of combination. Like, you know, I know Coach Gardner, he's got a lot of D linemen. They're all pretty good. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of drop-off. Our secondary, I mean, I hadn't seen a whole lot of that either. So, you know, our expectation, no matter who we're playing, is to play well, to execute our plays, and really try to play with some tempo. And no matter who you're playing, I think that's our expectation.
It's your third spring, you know, being an offensive coordinator, and two out of those three, you're doing everything fresh. How's this one compare, and what have you learned about yourself and everything?
Let's see, is this my third or fourth? This is my fourth, right? 2 at Southern Miss, 1 at Arizona State.
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah, fourth, yeah. This is unique because I think you know, when I was at Arizona State, really I was the only new guy and I hadn't worked with any of those guys. Here I got a little bit of a comfort because I've worked with some of these guys before, and I think it's been a good transition. I mean, I'm excited about what we're doing and the direction our offense is headed. I do think we're still, you know, one of the things we want to do in the spring is identify who we are in 2017. Each year you build the offense around, you know, the guys you have that year. In 2013, I'll never forget, after LSU game, we made some adjustments during that bye week, and it really took off. And you know, give Coach a lot of credit for that. But I think each year's different. We're still learning our team and what we're getting really good at. But I think we do have we got a better idea now of who can do what and what direction we want to head offensively.
Chip, you talked early on about identifying your strengths, first of all.
Yeah.
What are some of those strengths, or what are you noticing so far as your strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I think our offensive line has got a chance to be good. I think they're still, you know, improving and getting better. I like our running backs for sure. I mean, and, you know, that's what we've been good at here at running the football. I think the young receiving core is getting better. They're taking steps in the right direction, and so I've really been pleased with some of their, you know, and then Sal, you know, mentioning Sal earlier getting here. I think those guys have made a lot of progress, and then, you know, our tight end play, I think Jalen Harris has made some strides, and Sal obviously being the next tight end there, and then, you know, our quarterbacks obviously. I think Sean, you know, with him doing some 7-on-7, I've been really pleased with. You know, Sean's a smart guy. He's played a lot, and you can tell that. He's got some savvy about him. And then Jared obviously has made some improvements too. So, you know, as a unit, I think we're getting to where we want to be. But, you know, obviously still a long ways to go.
How has Sean, you know, dealt with being limited, and what have you been able to do with
Yep.
the pitch count? And
Yep.
when do you expect him to kind of be able to go full go with the summer?
So early on, he was on the pitch count, and he's kind of slid off of that now. Obviously, his reps have come in 7-on-7, and he's had really no signs of any pain or anything going on. I think the recovery's gone really well, and he's really done a really good job of transitioning, like during our team stuff, to kind of another coach, you know, with Malik and Woody being young quarterbacks. So really been pleased with him, and he's adapted to that role really, really well.
What have you noticed about Jared's leadership style as he's kind of familiarized with everybody?
Yeah, he's a little bit fiery, you know, more fiery than I really thought he would be, just getting to know him. But I see him when we go stretch lines, going up down the stretch lines and high-fiving guys. So I've been impressed with him. I think he's played some, so he's got a little bit of confidence, and Sean does too. So those guys I think they try to have a good time and are excited to be out there for practice. And, you know, I think all the good quarterbacks you've seen over the years, I always go back to Brett Favre. You know, he had a great time playing the game, and being at Southern Miss, got to know him a little bit. So it's been fun to watch all those quarterbacks evolve. And then now at practice 13, I've even seen Malik and Woody start bleeding off on them a little bit, and I think that's the key to having a really good quarterback is having a guy that's confident.
You mentioned Jalen. What have you seen from him from practice one?
I've seen him be more physical. I mean, really buy in. I mean, he's a big kid that's kind of growing into his frame, and I've seen him be more physical. Coach Porter's done an outstanding job with him, getting him to play low pad level and being physical. And I've seen him also improve route running and catching the ball. And but there's definitely like how physical he's been.
Obviously that's huge because he's kind of your one edge guy right
yeah.
now, isn't
he? Yeah, he is. We got a couple other guys I think that are coming along, but I think Jalen's the guy that's played, so he's the guy you kind of notice right off the bat. But yeah, I'm excited about his progress.
Herbert said that the left guard position was the one spot on the line he just wasn't quite sure about quite yet.
Yep.
Where's that stand at this point?
Yeah, I think Herb's probably right. We feel like we got 2 or 3 guys that are battling for that spot there, but we need to leave with feeling good about 5 guys. That's what Coach Hand's kind of in his mind. He's like, I'm trying different combination of guys at those spots to get the right guy, but we're still looking for a guy or 2 to step up and be that next guy.
Outside of recruiting, once the spring game is over with, how do you spend your off season? Do you want to go see other offenses and compare notes with people? How do you approach that?
Yeah, it's harder to do that in spring because a lot of other people are finishing spring a little bit later than us, so you don't want to get in their way. Then you're right into recruiting. The best time to do that usually is February, right after signing day. So for us, we'll spend a week or so, kind of quality control on our own, going through our own cut-ups from the spring, kind of just taking back, another look at things and seeing what we like, what we didn't like, what maybe we need to do it this way or whatever. So that's kind of our plan and then really get focused on recruiting and making sure that we're planned out where we're going to be. You got to be a lot of places and see a lot of kids over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So like I said, the first week or 2 we'll focus on some quality control stuff, organizing ourselves for recruiting, and then you go right into spring recruiting, then right into summer camps and getting kids on campus and all that. So it's a busy time.
How big is the summer for your quarterbacks? Just, you'll see them a little bit, but when you want to hear more about them, the team responding to them.
Yeah, it's big, because what happens is those guys have their player-led practices, and those quarterbacks can really take a step forward from a leadership standpoint during that. And then the other thing, we do get to spend a little time with them now that we used to not get to, so that's important for us. And got to be really organized and detailed to make sure we get a lot out of that. But I think that the one thing every team I've ever been on as a player, you kind of know who your guys are. Who are the leaders of this team, who's the alpha dog, so to speak. And we want our quarterbacks to be right in the mix of that. And I think this summer will be really big for all of them.
How do you spend your time with them in that? I mean, it's obviously great you get to spend time with them.
Yeah.
But in the limited time you get to spend, what do you do to try to?
Yeah, you got what we do basically is we set up video for them that's voiceovers and things that they can go back through the spring, and then the limited meeting time with them, we want to be real specific. Hey, today we're going to talk these protections or this run game or whatever, and just try to be as specific as you can. And then you got a guy like Jared and Sean and those guys. They got to spend time on their own too, going through the cut-ups themselves.
Have 1 or 2 or 3 receivers stepped up above the others so far this spring?
Sal I think's been an impressive guy. And maybe it's because he was just now getting here that he's kind of sticks out to me. I thought he's done a good job. I've seen Nate Craig do some good things. He's another guy. Darius Slayton, was out a couple weeks early. I saw him come back, so that was a surprise because that guy's really talented. I think he's done a good job. Will Hastings has been impressive. He does what he does and is competitive. And then I think really Eli Stove and Ron Davis have kind of both been, they play the same spot, so they've been doing, I've one day I've seen Ron make plays, next day Eli's made plays, and so those guys would be the 4 or 5 guys that probably caught my eye.
Beyond Sean, or
mostly two.
Beyond Sean, is there any health concerns going into Saturday for you guys?
No, not really. We feel pretty good where we're at health-wise on offense.
We've heard a bit about C.K. Culver.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you seen?
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's a physical guy. He plays extremely hard, kind of humble, doesn't say a whole lot, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. When he gets in there, it seems like he falls forward. It seems like he's got a little knack for hitting a crease here or there. So been impressed with him a lot. I really do like him.